Yes, sir.
Hello everyone, welcome to episode 49, live with Sirus Migration. It's been another wonderful week. There's so many changes came up, so we're gonna talk a little bit in detail. Before we go forward, I've got a famous Chhabra right next to me as well.
Famous Chhabra. Thanks for the nice introduction.
Head of Education. I thought it'll be useful for us to have the topic towards education and general skill migration a little bit in detail, because Australia's just announced a lot of changes and a lot of incentives towards international students, studies. We're getting visas granted left, right, center at the moment, overseas, everywhere. We had a lot of visa grants this week from within a couple of days to a day and a week. And so we're going to discuss all that in detail. And we'll touch base about a couple of other visa changes or visas. What's new? What's new with the visa changes at the moment, and we will demystify some of these issues with the latest announcements. If you're in Australia right now, especially related to student visa grants and the visa application charges, etc. So today's episode 49. I would like to invite you to hit the like button or the subscribe button if you're coming with YouTube, or if you're coming with Facebook, please hit the thumbs up button. So you'll be subscribed. You will get to know about all the Australian new visa changes through our channel, and also as soon as we put up a video, you will be notified that way as well. So it'll be more beneficial for you as we are putting up these videos weekly. And also having the 50th milestone of our live session coming up next week, we are thinking of what other ways can we make it more beneficial for you. So we have been giving bit of information in the get-go and then of the live session every week. And we have been allowing you guys to come and give us some live questions so we could answer it live for you. I'm thinking of, with our team, if there's any other ways, maybe we'll give you the monthly updates and give you a live answer session. The whole point of this whole live session is to share our knowledge, so you'll be more educated. And it also gives us time to share our experience that we face day to day in terms of these dynamic visa changes and new offers that comes on board. But maybe what we're thinking right now is to probably give you a weekly, monthly live session, and then give you weekly or as it comes up, update on individual visa categories. I've got so much to catch up with you in terms of different visa subclasses, which has been already updated, and also with the new state changes for general skill migration, etc. So it's a whole point of this discussion is how we can do it. So if you have any idea how we can help you better in terms of sharing our knowledge, would you like us to go monthly live and weekly subclass updates? I've got plenty to talk about business visas as well. There's so many changes came through and so many incentives right now. Even if your age is above 45, if you have some work experience, business experience over 4 years, and you don't have a substantial academic and English knowledge, but you have some business experience, you have still pathways through business visas, and that also can benefit you and the whole family by taking them into Australian schools, etc. So please do give us your suggestion how you would like us to present and share our knowledge with you. You can send us an email, or you can simply type your opinion down in the comment section. So we will it will help us put together the new program after the 50th should we call it anniversary and celebration. We will remodel it so it'll be more beneficial for you. So, Mick is keenly waiting. I'll just quickly touch base with our topics as well. As we said, we're going to talk about student visas because it's a hot topic at the moment. Australia's brand new international student program came up, and there's lots of students getting visa grants. And the best part is we are getting to see these new faces popping up every day. And I'm so glad one of my students came in this morning from Sri Lanka. He's got the visa granted within about 3 days. He's coming to study in TAFE College.
Yes, that's correct.
And he called me in the morning and said, Isuru, I've just arrived, and the good thing is I didn't have to quarantine. I just walked straight out. And
that's the beauty.
That's the beauty.
That's what we've been waiting for such a long time. Australia has been in a lockdown for the longest period of time, I guess, in the world, and we're coming out of
It's been about 2 years, right?
Yes, we
Almost.
are coming out of the quarantine system, so no more lockdowns, no more border closures. The state borders are now open as well, so you can, go freely amongst most of the states other than Western Australia, I guess. Yeah.
As per my understanding, Queensland's announcement was they were to open up the borders freely for international students and other visa holders to come in without quarantine from 22nd of January. But as of my experience today, we are seeing that the international students can, and also other visa holders can, walk through as long as they have a RAT test or rapid antigen test done within 24 hours before arriving with negative results. I mean, negative as in negative for COVID.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, guys, I just want to share with you a few things about the new changes of the international student visa. So we're seeing a lot of student visas being granted, first of all, and congratulations to all our students internationally who have got a visa grant in the last couple of days. So since Monday this week, we've seen a huge approval rate in student visas.
Daily 4-5 visa grants, which is like absolutely a beauty.
We love it. We love it. We love to see visa grants, and we're getting grants for student visas that we applied last week, as well as for student visas we applied like 3 months ago. So everything is coming through. So if you're waiting for your student visa to be granted, don't rush into making a decision of your life. Just wait. It's going to come through.
We are still supporting students who's coming to the first semester of 2022, like starting next month. We still getting the visas processed for them. Because,
we are still in
don't waste your time anymore. If you in the line, just if you got the English, or sometimes Leaders Institute the other day announced that they're not worried about English requirements so far, right? Is that correct?
Look, because they're on level 1, they can afford to not look into the English requirement. But if you are offshore, I would suggest that we look at your English history. You obviously have got an English test in hand, and it's always good to give your English and financial statements to the Department of Immigration. So they don't judge your application. They make a decision based on the facts that they have got in front of their eyes.
Once we share some of this information about the latest changes and news, etc., we're going to then talk about which states. While Mickey's there, I'm here. We're going to talk about which states to pick, which universities and which institutes, and what's good and bad about certain things. I mean, nothing bad, but what's more beneficial for you. So stay tuned, and if you have questions, if you are student related, or if you looking for a pathway, maybe chat to us and send us some inquiries. So, Mickey,
absolutely. I believe every student visa has got a pathway to a permanent migration option, long-term visas. That's what Isuru is going to help us today to figure out, how a student visa could lead to a permanent residency pathway.
Absolutely.
Correct. So
what's more convenient and what's more beneficial for you, and how? That's what we're going to talk.
Exactly. So when we get a call from a student asking what course do you suggest, obviously they've got in the back of their head that they want a course or a student visa. When they're coming to Australia, they want to look into permanent residency pathways. Isuru. So we will discuss a few options that are possible options. But at the end of the day, we're going to talk about student visa. So if you are interested in coming to Australia on a student visa, or if you are interested in migrating to Australia for long term, maybe staying here for a longer basis, then obviously you can discuss your PR pathways. But
have a chat, make a good plan with good education consultant, and if you want migration advice as well, migration, because students are not just the students who's completing grade 12. You might be working in the field, and you might look for a permanent residence pathway. But then, rather than spoiling couple of years of your time just waiting under what your current circumstances are, you might have better options through going through student pathways by upskilling yourself and empowering your points, etc.
The beauty is, at this stage, the good news is for international students. Number one, you can work full-time in Australia because of the pandemic COVID crisis that is going on in the country for a while.
That's one of the news that came up, and then that's effective from 19th of January. Yeah. So it's going across to all the sectors. It used to be for hospitality. So if you're simply an international student in Australia right now,
you can work.
And they're going to review this. The government's going to review this by April. But with the current shortage, I can't see this
getting waived off
anytime sooner, because there's a massive skill shortage that we might come back around to you and discuss further. But as Mickey said.
So that's one of the good news. And the second good news for international students is if you're traveling to Australia, if you have been granted a visa, or you are about to, you've already applied, so there is no quarantine required, the 14-day quarantine, especially in Queensland, New South Wales, South Australia and Victoria. So if you're traveling to Australia, feel free. You don't have to spend that $4,000 in a hotel accommodation and you have to stay indoors for 14 days. All you need is a negative test. So the government is welcoming you with open hands to come to Australia. So that is an indication that we want international students to come into Australia.
Absolutely.
And, so this is an open door invitation to all the students out there who were taking Canada or UK as an alternate option when you were planning to come to Australia, because your friends or your family or you knew somebody in Australia and they told you, oh, don't come to Australia, the borders are closed, you'll have to quarantine, you won't get a visa grant, blah, 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 blah. That thing is all gone. Now it's an open door invitation to all international students. If you want to come to Australia, you're more than welcome to apply. And there is a very, very good chance that there might be a free visa application fee for international students. But there's a bit of a confusion here, isn't it?
So my interpretation from the legal side of it, when we see it, and also the experience that we're facing right now, a lot of people quite a few people understood it wrong, to my understanding, Mickey, because a lot of people thought international student fees have been waived completely.
Yes.
So they have waived the international fees for certain category. So if you're a current holder of a student visa, whether you're onshore or you're stuck offshore, and if you want to extend the visa or if you want to reapply, then your student visa fees of $630 is been waived. So that's effective as of 19th of January, and it will continue to be so till 19th of March. And also in the same time, if you're a working holiday maker, currently in Australia or stuck outside, and $495 of student visa fees have now been waived if you're currently holding one and trying to go ahead again, and that will be reviewed again in 19th of April. So this is not for the brand new student visa applicants, but still you will be benefiting a lot of money benefiting this opportunity if you're currently holding some. So there was a bit of a
there's a gray area there, but rest assured, guys, I will make sure in all my powers and information to get back to you with the correct information. I'll try to get the most of the correct information by end of the day tomorrow. As of now, on the Department of Immigration, it says only for student visa holders who were forced to defer their student visas are eligible for free student visa application fees, not for new international student visas. But we are still digging into it. Maybe we'll hear back from the department, or maybe their website will be updated in the next 24 hours.
Absolutely,
you never know.
yeah.
So we'll keep you informed about this story about international.
But if you're applying for a visa as of today, like right now, for a student visa, you have to pay $630, and also if you're a working holiday maker,
yes,
brand new application, that's $495 as the department fees. Another good news.
Yeah, moving forward, the good news is the visa grant. So we are very lucky and very, very happy to have so many visa grants lately. We've had 6 visa grants yesterday, and between yesterday and today, and on Monday I got 3. So we've got 9 this week already from offshore.
Yeah,
and that's a huge relief, that now the visas are getting
so
granted.
I guess these numbers are growing every day, and so as I said, if you're waiting for a student visa application, don't wait another 6 months. You're free to come in now, put your application soon, and luckily Department of Home Affairs has put up a good processing system, those visas getting granted very quickly. So we've got very quick grants from Sri Lanka, India, Nepal, Vietnam. What other? That's offshore applications.
That's mostly offshore. We got one from Vietnam and a few from Sri Lanka and India and Nepal and Pakistan as well, of course. So I'll quickly like to touch base with Isuru as well. The benefits that our students have been seeing for studying in regional universities in Australia. So Isuru, as a migration agent, from the migration point of view, can you brief to our students how Australian regional universities are going to benefit these students towards their permanent residency long-term visas?
So the good thing with this regional concept is it's a no-brainer in terms of studying in regional universities and institutes, as long as you're planning to stay long-term or looking for permanent residency pathway. You're benefiting from extended 485 or temporary resident visas, as well as gaining further 5 points towards your general skill migration process as well. Whether you go for 190, 491 applications process after completing your visas, then you get that benefit. And also what I noticed, especially we have quite a number of students studying in University of Southern Queensland and regional universities in regional area. I'm just focusing on Toowoomba area especially.
Absolutely, yeah.
What I'm seeing is, because they're regional pockets, majority of the students get these opportunities to have work experience while they're working, because there's a big competition to get local work. So they get an opportunity to go get some work experience quite easily. And also the university lecturers provide a lot of support finding these jobs and recommendations, etc. too. So regional universities, regional institutes, right now if we talk about Queensland, not just Toowoomba, even Sunshine Coast, Gold Coast are also considered regional for migration purposes as well, like 189, 190, 491, 494 purposes. Student general skill migration is not the only option that you got left for migration pathways. There are employee-nominated pathways. Employee-nominated pathway also. Right now, there are, even if you're in a short-term skill occupation list, which you don't get a direct permanent residency pathway through in metropolitan areas, if you were to get a sponsorship from a regional employer, even people who are carrying short-term skill occupation listed occupations, they get a permanent residency pathway through regional areas. So regional areas getting, like we all know, I've got a lot of experience working in Townsville, Cairns area regions, and the federal government as well as the state governments putting up billions of infrastructure dollars into the regions, improving and empowering energy sector, infrastructure sector, regional resource sector. So that creates massive number of engineering job opportunities, renewable energy job opportunities, and lot more working opportunities there as well. So it is important to understand what's good, what university is good for your personal background, what's good for you in your pathway, rather than just coming up with just a name of
Absolutely.
a university. I'm not saying in certain cases it is good to work in a metropolitan university, because that way you get exposed to certain other aspects of your migration plan. So it all depends what you want to study for.
And the benefits of studying it in a regional area, as Isuru mentioned, the points system and your temporary residency period increases. At the same time, there are some scholarships that are still available in regional universities, which I personally see and I feel are going to fade away in the next couple of months, since we have got a huge number of applications from overseas into regional universities coming through. So most of the universities are going to pull out their scholarships very shortly. Maybe in come July or September, you won't be seeing any more scholarships for international students. But at this stage, we have a few universities, for example, University of Southern Queensland is still offering 25% scholarship for the next intake, and you still have got another 10 days to apply for the next semester. So if you are interested in applying for the next semester, which is next month, you can still avail the 25% scholarship and also 6 months free accommodation on campus if you are coming as an international student from overseas.
USQ's got a lot of good benefits for students, because they're one of these universities who's got in-house accommodation for students, where you can live in the campus, literally walk 2 minutes to the campus.
Yes.
So and the campus accommodations doesn't cost you a leg as well. It's very cheap, easy fees, and you don't have to worry about electricity charges, internet charges, blah blah blah. It's just all included. So very
plenty
competitive.
of job opportunities available in Toowoomba. You'll be shocked to hear that it's not a very small town. It's a decent town, which is not too far away from Brisbane if you look at the geographic location as well. And other options, as I was mentioning earlier, in a regional area, which is Gold Coast, a very popular destination for international students, which is only about 60 kilometers from Brisbane, but it's a regional capital area.
I will go and live in Gold Coast any day.
So
any time of the day.
We've got a huge tourist destination, which is very famous, Surfers Paradise.
One of Australia's one of world's most famous and beautiful beaches located in Australia.
Southern Hemisphere, I would say.
Absolutely, yes.
So we've got University of Southern Cross, which is offering up to $10,000 in scholarships depending on the location and campus.
Especially
and
for students, study hard, party hard.
Yeah.
It's the best place in that terms.
Absolutely. So, which is in pretty much in the heart of Gold Coast in Coolangatta area, and where most of the students live and work. And then you have options of QUT, for example, which is in Brisbane, but absolutely an amazing university, one of the top universities in Australia, and they are offering 25% scholarship for graduates who have graduated their year 12 or their bachelor's with high marks,
It's a point system. You need to get 12 points, and they look at what's your achievements through your education background, etc. But QUT is where I personally graduated myself, and I call it the home university. I always have a hotspot for them, and one of the best universities in Australia, as well as most definitely in Queensland too. Very good for IT related subjects. When the top universities, I think it's QUT has been known for IT security as one of the best universities, and also they have a very good faculty in biomedical science, and also nursing, engineering, IT, and business. So QUT is very famous for IT as well as engineering as well, and they have metropolitan or city presence as well as Kelvin Grove suburban presence.
Yeah, the most recent good news from QUT Isuru recently was that they started Masters of Nursing entry to clinical practice, which leads directly to a registered nurse. So
absolutely,
you don't need a background. So good part is you don't even need a medical background to get into Masters.
So people who's looking to do a career shift where you have been working in finance sector and you had enough with these spreadsheets and numbers, and now you want to be a nurse. You don't have to go back again and study 3 years. You can use your bachelor's degree in finance or whatever you are working on, and enroll for the 2-year master's degree, and you can go and get your nursing degree that way as well, masters in nursing that way. And one other good thing I noticed with QUT, sometimes what students struggles is with I don't see I can get into trouble with this, but I don't see PTE and IELTS is always a true measure of everyone's English knowledge. When some people have a good English knowledge and you go and sit for the exam and you find you're 0.5 shorter or 0.5 higher in somewhere else. So to balance it, for it's a NMAC or a AFRA requirement for you to have 7 in each band in English, or you need to have professional English before you can apply for a nursing degree. It's not a university one, it's a regulatory bodies or the assessing bodies requirement. Otherwise you cannot get the registration for nursing. So with QUT they have this special entry diploma. If you're short on that 7, you can do the diploma of health, and then second year you can join
into the Bachelor's of Nursing. That's correct. But before you join into the Bachelor's, you'll still need to show a 7 each in IELTS or 65 in PTE. But it gives you ample time to continue studying and prepare for your English
rather than
requirements.
spending more time in English, you can just start your education and get qualified within that year and go into the second year.
So if you're studying at QUT and you're studying nursing, you straight away, as soon as you finish, you sort it for your registration. So it's pre-approved by AFRA. So if you complete your education from QUT, you come out as a registered nurse, and Isuru can tell you the pathway for permanent residency as a registered nurse in Queensland if you're looking to study at QUT.
So with registered nurses, you have 491 pathways depending on your points where you stay. So I really, nurses are always a hot spot because you have multiple active migration pathways. First, I will talk about the general skill migration pathway. You have 491, where you get 15 points from the state. Still, you need to be nominated and invited by the state. So if you've been working at least 3 months in a regional area, you can get nominated for 491. And you get 15 points from the state as well by the nomination. And if you have 80 points plus, you can apply for 190 from Queensland. Again, you need to have current ongoing work commitment. When you talk about current and ongoing work, other than the good thing with nursing is you're never going to have a problem right now finding a nursing job, because everyone that I know, they've got a job. I got an invitation last week. I put the application earlier last week, and a couple of days later I got the invitation. So this lady's been working in 491. Gold Coast region, but I was able to manage to get 190 for her with the points that she's got. So that the state nomination process also is a very steady one, and on top of it, you still have the 482 and 482, 186, 494 options available as well, because you are most likely to get your employment sorted by working in nursing sector. So because a lot of people, they get accepted by the time you finish. So it's almost a guaranteed job opportunity as soon as you complete your degree. So, which is a good thing.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Isuru, for providing this information. And last but not the least, I would like to touch base on one of my favorite destinations in Australia, which
Tasmania.
Is the South Island. It has Tasmanian Island. So why Tasmania is good to study for international students?
It is funny how Mickey sometimes know the answer and try to
push it to
me.
So,
Tasmania,
the 1 year and the 2 year rule that they have come up in 2020 and 2021. So most of the students have followed to Tasmania to make it their destination and a career in Tasmania for their future long-term career goals.
Absolutely. So the most of the other states give you 190 and 491 option. I mean, Queensland's give you 190 and 491. And 491 SBO option, which is 3 options. Tasmania is very generous. They've given not 1 option, 2 option, 3 option. They've given 5, 491, 5, right? 5, 491
options and
pathways.
Yeah.
So if you don't get into this category, you have another option, another option, another option. Similar to South Australia. So South Australia's got a really nice program, but Tasmania has a special 491 program as well as 190 program, whether you studied in Tasmania or expecting to study in Tasmania.
Yes.
So that's what Mickey wants to talk about. I will let Mickey finish off what he started.
So what options? There's only one university in Tasmania, which is
University of
Tasmania, which is one of the top universities, no doubt, and they have made the island as their home. You study on the island. Almost every course they've got health practice courses, logistics, sciences, IT, business courses. You talk about teaching is a very particularly famous course at UTAS, teaching secondary and teaching primary. Both of them, I guess, lead to permanent residency pathways.
Absolutely.
So we received an email from the department as well that the 2 year study rule and the 1 year study rule in Tasmania, which I would like you to discuss and talk about the pathway with 1 year study and 2 year, both of them.
Okay. You didn't touch base about the TAFE as well.
Yeah, TAFE Tasmania.
So TAFE Tasmania's got three campuses, and they also have a very good nursing program, and also we can support not only TAFE and UTAS, we can support with students going into
private
colleges, and also studying from grade 6 onwards. So you can come in with parents to study. So the 1 year and 2 year.
Yes, like for example, there's diplomas available as well. So 1 year diplomas, like 1.5 year.
So that's institutes rather than going into universities.
Yes.
So you can you have pathways from studying diplomas in institutes, depending on what course you study, and also don't forget you need to still get a skills assessment. So there are requirements for 1 year and 2 year pathways, but the other thing you have to be worried about also is once you complete, how you're going to get a skills assessment, and which course should you be focusing on that way. So, Mickey,
so if you already have a skill assessment, let's say, so somebody who's done Masters of Professional Accounting from Victoria, and they've completed their professional year, or they've got 7 each, and they've already got a skill assessment. So, how about these students? They can go to Tasmania for 1 year study?
1 year study and go through 491 category 2, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you only need to study 1 year and find relevant work, and you can come
and
up
it doesn't
with a
have
good
to
proposal.
be. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. It doesn't have to be accounting itself. So Tasmania is actually known as a safe haven for most of the accounting degree holders right now who's struggling with their point tests, etc.
Some of the students are maybe a little disappointed that they have finished 1 year study but haven't got an invitation. But don't worry, hang in tight. The borders have opened. The migration is going to open soon as well. It's also because of the previous trend that we've been seeing in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So next year, after 1st of July, the changes might come through. But right now, there's a lot of people who's applied through for Tasmanian 491 program and 190 program, and they have lots of incentives for people who have already studied. And Tasmania also has a 491 small business owner category 2, which is quite similar to Queensland. So if you studied 1 year and if you're not getting anywhere, and if you're struggling and to get an invitation, you might have other options available. The best thing you can do while you waiting for getting an invitation is also to keep on trying to work in the qualified sector, which is very important. That also enhances other opportunities for you too. So if you currently waiting for an invitation, you should consider continuing to work in the sector.
Your work or study, maybe enhance your education from 1 year to 2 year, and that increases your chances for a 190 rather than a 491.
Yeah,
because 2 year study will give you an option for 190 with relevant or closely related work experience in Tasmania.
491. 1 year only allows you 491.
Yeah.
On the other hand,
not 190.
Yeah. So difference is 491 is a 5-year visa, which can lead into 191, the permanent pathway, after 3 years. Your personally to engage in 491, you only require 50 points. So because the state provides you 15 points. Any more you get, you'll be highly recognized. You'll be better in the list. So you'll be able to get into through to a permanent pathway quicker. 191, whereas 190 is straight permanent residency, state nominated. So that's what Mickey said. The 1 year and 2 year. That if you study 2 years, then you can in Tasmania, then you can try get into the 190, then again, but still comes back down to how many points you got. You can apply all you can, but depending on your points, you'll be competitive to get a invitation extended. So they're the two options that I would talk about. And also, just before we go into the questions and answer session, I want to touch base with GTI, Global Talent Independent, and the business visa sector. Global Talent Independent, we starting to see invitations coming, or the further information request comes through to us for people who's applied in May, June area. So if you have someone who's already applied through us, or you've done it through someone else, our experience is currently we're getting further information requests for people in that May to June months. So if you have, there is a bit more, quite a bit of delay, but don't give up. They have not thrown away the program. It is still active. It is still as good as it used to be, but it's just a slow decision. GTI, when you apply for the visa, it's very quick, but until you get the invitation from the Global Task Force, it's going to take a while take a while before you can get invitation. It's just due to the massive backlog or the number of applications people put forward, they're taking it a bit slow. The good thing also, if you're struggling to find the nominators, I think we've already spoken, but the Engineers Australia as well as Australian Computer Society, they're both volunteering to be, or not volunteering, they'll charge you charge your cost to become your nominator. Nominator doesn't always have to be known to you for a long time, as long as they have the capacity to attest your talent, that you have been working in, you got this capacity of experience and knowledge, then they can be your nominator. So with the business visas, people who are above 45 years can join this program. A lot of people ask me this question. You can go up to 55, also you can go beyond 55 depending on your financial and experience, business experience that you carry. And certain states are trying to limit it to 50. So I don't know what will be the next year if you're between 45 and 55, or if you're especially above 50. If you're waiting around for your application, I think I would encourage you to put your application together as soon as possible. Maybe they might go towards lowering the score or something like that. I'm not sure. So it is always, if you are eligible, why not do it sooner than later? Because right now they're processing the applications very quickly. Normally business visa applications could go up to 2 to 3 years for 188A visa, but right now I'm seeing visas getting processed within the 12 months, and this is after this ministerial directions in July to give it a priority processing, give priority processing for business visa clients. So if there's any other questions, we'll get to it as we go. We spend a lot of time talking, so we might not be able to go through all the questions, but we will get through to as many questions as possible. Ashan is saying looking good in Facebook, so let's see. It'll be good if when she joins back. Ashan is taking some time off due to personal reasons. We had a baby.
Congratulations. We all know.
So she'll be expected to come back a little later. Until then, we miss you. We all miss you. But so she'll be joining very soon. So Sujeevan's got a question. Currently residing in offshore. I have 90 points for 190 visa with 10 years of experience as a structural engineer. I applied for New South Wales 190. What are the chances to be invited? Look, you have good chances to apply. 90s don't consider for 190 as a very good points, even because you're offshore as well, because I've got few clients who's working on that number. If you applied, just stay on the list, but I wouldn't give you too much hopes that it's going to cut the cake. I'm really sorry, Sujeevan, this is my personal experience. It might be different, but also still keep on trying to get through to an employer. You might have better options through employee nominated schemes as well.
If you find the job, yeah.
And the other option as well, if you were to talk to Mickey would say, come and do a master's degree and you will enhance your numbers.
Maybe a research program or something,
Yeah, so if you were to study a couple of years in USQ or some regional university, you'll
increase your points.
Yeah, absolutely. So there are other options. If you want to have a chat, write to us through admin@sirus.com.au, and we will probably set up an appointment with myself, or Mickey can advise you. Mickey is our head of education, so he's got a lot of knowledge with suitable universities and courses, and what shortcuts can you get with the scholarships, etc. So
come and talk to us.
He's offshore.
Plan. So, talk to us over the phone. Make an appointment, and we'll discuss a future pathway for you.
So Mohammed Dihar, he's got 5.7 or 5 to 7 years of experience as a telecommunications network engineer. My points are 65 without state points getting. Are you onshore or offshore? If you're onshore, I have seen few actually 190s for telecommunication as well at 65 points. So depends what you up to now. Are you currently working in which state? If you're in offshore, I wouldn't give you too much hopes, but
talk to me.
As well as start looking for work opportunities. I mean, if you're working, continue to work offshore.
Yeah.
So Mohammed, it's maybe try come in. Talk to Mickey.
Talk to Mickey. Talk to Mickey.
Because you might be able to come onshore quicker, upskill yourself a little bit, and then find an onshore employer.
Increase your points.
Increase your points.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So, YouTube, here we come. If you have questions, feel free to type your questions here, and we'll try to go through as many as we can within the given time. And also, while you're there, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, we will we would like to invite you to hit the subscribe button. That way you will get to know each time when we put up a video, and also come up live so we can discuss your personal issues, personal migration related issues, rather than setting up specialized one-on-one appointments. And also you will be able to increase your knowledge about certain subjects while listening and hearing to other people's questions and answers as well. So having said that, let's go into some of the questions. Mayuri, good morning. So you must be from offshore. Good morning to you, Mayuri. Can you please give me some update regarding skill migration, like which states will be giving nominations for offshore applicants? Currently Queensland is closed, but New South Wales is open, and Tasmania also is open for offshore applicants, and South Australia's got a really nice migration program. But remember, you're competing with the onshore and a lot of other applicants while you're offshore, so make sure you got really good high points. New South Wales is good, but I've got a lot of clients talking to me that they have already applied, but they're not getting many. So if you're hitting 95-100 points, maybe give it a go.
If
and
not,
depending
talk
on your
to
occupation. Yeah, why not come on shore? Because you get not only this opportunity, you'll be able to get yourself into employee nominated pathways as well. Sumit is asking, just want to ask about family sponsor 491 regional visa, Queensland with 75.15, master in accountancy. 491, I think you'll have a 491 family sponsor with 90 points. I think you'll be in a good competitive point.
Range.
100 to 105 is what I see for 190. But for 491, I think you'll be good with that. And also, again, while waiting, keep working. That's the main point.
Try to increase your points.
And then while working, if you're not getting anywhere with your invitation, talk to your employer, or let us talk to your employer. Then we'll tell them how good in what sort of commitment they're getting from getting you a sponsorship as well. Let's go into Devin Villa Carlos. Hello, good morning.
I also know about Canada.
So, Devin, permanent residence in Canada. Unfortunately, I'm not a qualified or registered migration agent for Canada, so I won't be able to tell you much about Canadian migration programs. So, thank you for connecting. Mickey can tell you a bit about education or studying in Canada, and we can help you with studying in Canada, but unfortunately we cannot give you advice in terms of migrating to Canada.
So NSW95 software engineer.
3 years experience. Are you Rahel, are you currently in Australia? Because you might have another good point came out on Rahel. New South Wales recently changed their requirements for 190 program. Not only points now they look at at least having minimum of 3+ years work experience. So 95 is a very good point, I think, for software engineers. In my experience, I can't guarantee that they will give you an invitation, but since you have 3+ years work experience as a software engineer, New South Wales got a big shortage in software developers and software engineers, and software engineers not elsewhere classified. They're in primary migration skill occupation list as well. So why not talk to your employer for getting a 186? 186 is a state permanent residency. All you need to get is a nomination from your employer and get a continuing job, 2-year commitment, and this it's more certain than going through the 189, 190, 491 categories. So if you want further information, set up an appointment. I'll have a chat to you and also your employer. Gaten Fabrice, sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, Gaten. Could you please elaborate? The question is, could you please elaborate the best possible pathway I could take after PhD in medicine? Please elaborate. Thanks. Gaten, there are many pathways. Even GTI is open for you depending on what your achievements are as well. And also, we need to know whether you're onshore or offshore. Onshore, you get extended up to 4 years 485 temporary resident visa, and also you get extra points. Also, if you currently studying in a certain state, most of the states give additional attention and incentives towards the PhD clients. Applicants. So depending on some of the backgrounds, how old are you, etc. So maybe talk to us through admin@sirus.com.au to set up a one-on-one meeting, and then we can go through your background and suggest you a better outcome. PhD in medicine, you have many opportunities and pathways. Jyoti Goswami, can bridging visa travel overseas? So please reply. So bridging visa A. If you're currently in bridging visa A, you can apply for a bridging visa B to travel overseas and come back. But when you go beyond bridging visa B, if you're currently in a bridging visa C, you cannot go overseas and come back. So it is important to understand and check where you at, and get that bridging visa B granted for you before you travel overseas, Jyoti. So ensure you before you travel, you got the right bridging visa, and also check if your bridging visa B is still eligible, because there are one-off bridging visa Bs too. So once you go out, come back, your bridging visa is gone. You're back into your bridging visa A. So it's more advisable for you to go check where you at. I think we'll take a couple of more questions and wrap it up for the day. We'll go till 9 Dias, and then wrap it off for the day. So Nitesh, if you have 90 points already with 5 years experience with mechanical engineer, and I'm still doing my master's, will I be able to apply for 189 onshore? Of course. Should I be working in the mechanical engineering occupation while applying? Obviously, yes. So you're doing, you have 5 years experience. You're currently studying masters. You can apply for your 189 or 190 depending on your eligibility before even you finish your course, because you are already qualified for the position depending on your work experience, etc. But you got 90 points. That's very good and competitive. You should continue to work in the sector, and also you might have because you have 5 years experience, you can apply for permanent residency directly if an employer is willing to sponsor you. So you can go into 186 direct entry category. All you need is a skills assessment with 3 years work experience and competent English, which is IELTS 6 in each band, and PTE
60 is
58 plus, right? 58
yes.
to 65
yes.
is 6. Yeah.
6.
Nitesh, if you need any support, talk to us or talk to a good migration agent or a lawyer, so they will advise you further. Kasun from Sri Lanka, how are you? Want to
Sounds
ask,
like you already know her.
There's a few cousins who are my clients, and probably Sri Lankans. We're a small country. Everyone's a relative or a friend. So it's me, Kasun. I just want to ask, I have been applied for 482 General Fitter nomination and visa last year from Sri Lanka. It's now been more than 8 months. So look, Kasun, the thing with General Fitter, I don't think it's in PMSOL. I can't exactly remember. Mario, do you have the PMSOL? Can you pull up? So Fitter is not there, right? So if it's not in primary migration skill occupation list, you can see the list in here. If your occupation's not in there, you're getting processed normally. It can go up to 8 to 12 months depending on where you are. So my advice to you, Kasun, is you can do a couple of things. One, get in touch with your agent to see if you can get your employer to see if you can get a supporting letter if they really need you to come early, and then forward it to the case officer. But also, in my opinion, if you already gone past 8 months, within next 4 months they'll be asking you for further information very soon. If not, write to them and then see how you go. Jyoti, you got a question. Can we apply for both family sponsor and small scale business in Queensland under 491? Of course you can, but if you already bought a business under a 491 SBO category, I think 491 SBO is more certain than going through the family sponsor, and I've seen quicker responses. It depends on your point. Like even at 65 point.
Yeah, we've had great success with 491 SBO this month. We got 2 of those visas granted, actually.
So if you're going through 491 SBO, so I'll quickly touch base about 491 SBO. If you have full-time work rights, and if you can individually get 50 points by yourself, 65 including 491 state, younger than 45 years old, currently have full-time work experience, and you need to have any skills assessment with positive results, then you need to go and buy a business spending minimum of $100,000 in Australia, in Queensland regional area.
More than 2 years old.
The business has to be more than 2 years. That's one category. The other category is you can start up your own, but then you have to operate it for 2 years, and then both years has to be profitable and successful. And if you're starting up, then the turnover has to be 200,000. So when you have one of those, after operating it for 6 months, if you purchase it by spending 100,000, then you can apply for the EOI. Then in my experience, it's a much more streamlined, quicker application process, and then the competition, I mean, they won't just turn it down just because like any other, because they consider that you have spent that much money. The state will be quite I can't talk.
They are impressed.
Yes.
And also how things are going with SBO, I guess.
Absolutely, and it's more streamlined. So if you're already operating a business, I wouldn't even worry about the family sponsor category.
Yeah.
That's my opinion, Jyoti, but if you need further information, be in touch. Nitesh, thank you very much for congratulating. Can we apply for visit visa? Nayana, you can apply for visit visa, but right now you cannot. The general visitors are not permitted. You have to apply for a exemption. But if you have close relatives like your father, mother, or your son or daughter live in Australia, then they can apply for a visit visa. NRI 18, look, I don't know your name, but nice to know Australia finally opened its borders of us too.
Yes, borders
Tourism
are open.
has taken a big hit. Absolutely. Tourism will go up big time, I guess, this year. I guess the COVID's being treated as one of the flu right now, so we don't have that fear anymore as much as that we used to have. But it's good to see people behaving lot conservatively these days too. So hopefully this year it'll enhance more. But unfortunately, the visitors visa is not fully open yet, but it will be very soon. Mayuri,
Can you take that last question, Mayuri?
Yes.
And wrap it up. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll take this as the last question. Talked about employee nomination. Can you please tell how can we get it? My trade is electrical technician with 75 points. So Mayuri, very good question. Going through the employee nomination stream, you do not need to have any points. So point is not a concern. You need to be less than 45 years, depending on which area which program under ENS you're going through. Even certain Dharma programs like designated area programs like in Far North Queensland, etc., gives you further years. But without complicating it too much, the process is you need to have an employer. So if you're going through general skill migration, you need to go through the point system and you need to compete with other people to get the state nomination. But in employee nominated, you need to be nominated by an employer who's willing to offer you a job. Depending on your work experience and employer's preference in giving you a long-term or short-term job opportunity, you can get it. Then again, we have to check. You need to get what sort of background you got. Electrical technicians got a bit of restrictions because you need to get the Australian registration.
Done.
So registration can be a little complicated depending on your background, because technicians need to Mario's telling me I have to go for a consultation soon, so
wrap it up.
So I'll just be quick. So for electrical engineers, electrician technicians need to have the license before you can license can be your skills assessment too.
Yeah.
It can be complicated for electrical depending on your background. Talk to us if you like to learn more, because we might be able to get you enrolled into certain courses which can get you into that space as well. So
Again,
I know there's many more questions listed there. I would love to sit down and discuss and these questions and share my knowledge. Due to the limited time we've got, we cannot go through all the questions today. So if we missed your question and if I couldn't answer your question, please send us an email to admin@sirus.com.au. Depending on your background, we might be able to set up a one-on-one consultation, or we can hopefully send you an answer, and we can probably get you to fill up one of our questionnaires, and we can shortlist you to one of the suitable visas. So we're going to wrap it up for the day, and we had a wonderful week this week so far. We've got lots of student visa grants and other visa grants as well, but students are
quite a highlight this week, because we get plenty of them and we get to see a lot of new faces coming and walking into the country. So thank you for joining us. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button now and join us next week on Thursday at 3 o'clock to the live session. Thank you very much, guys. Stay
Thanks,
blessed.
guys. Thank you very much.
God bless you all. Bye-bye.